Did you know that the secret to true progress isn't about making huge leaps, but about the small, consistent actions you take every day? If you want to unlock your full potential and create lasting change in your life, you need to understand how the combination of stoic wisdom and pragmatic action can transform your approach. Avoid the myth that success requires perfection, because it doesn't. Instead, it's about understanding that growth happens when we embrace imperfection, learn from our mistakes, and keep moving forward. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through 11 practical strategies that blend the timeless wisdom of Stoicism with the actionable mindset of Pragmatism. These strategies will help you turn problems into opportunities, focus on what works, and consistently move toward the life you want to create. Let's dive in. Number 1. Turn problems into progress. Imagine a time in your life when things seem to be falling apart, a day when everything felt like it was working against you. Maybe it was missing a promotion you'd worked hard for, a financial setback that left you scrambling, or even just one of those moments where life's weight pressed down on you. Now pause and remember how you felt in that moment. There's a universal truth in those emotions: frustration, confusion, maybe even defeat. But here's the beauty of Pragmatism paired with Stoicism. It teaches us to see such moments not as barriers, but as stepping stones. Let me take you back. Picture Benjamin Franklin, the embodiment of practical wisdom. Franklin famously faced countless challenges, from starting his printing business to managing the chaos of public office. Yet, every challenge became a lesson, a way forward. He didn't wallow in what went wrong, he reframed it, asked, "What can I learn from this?" That's the essence of turning problems into progress. Now think about your own story. Maybe there was a moment when failure taught you something that success never could. You see, problems are teachers disguised as obstacles. When we step back, strip away the immediate sting of disappointment, and start asking, "What's the opportunity here?" we begin to transform. Problems, then, are no longer threats, but possibilities, a way to grow, adapt, and thrive. But let's ground this in something we all relate to: school days. Remember the feeling of facing a tough subject? Perhaps math wasn't your strongest suit, or writing essays felt like pulling teeth. At the time, it might have seemed insurmountable, but those challenges likely taught you more than the subjects you breezed through. They taught you perseverance, critical thinking, and perhaps even the satisfaction of overcoming something difficult. The point is simple: progress isn't linear, and problems aren't punishments. They're an essential part of leveling up. The sooner you stop seeing them as dead ends and start viewing them as beginnings, the sooner you'll discover your potential to grow. Number 2. Focus on what works. Think about your day for a moment. From the moment you wake up to the second your head hits the pillow, how much time do you spend worrying about things outside of your control? The news headlines you can't change, the traffic that made you late, the person who didn't text you back. If you're honest, it's probably more than you'd like to admit. But let me ask you this: has worrying about those things ever truly helped you? Take a deep breath and let that question settle. There's a shift that happens when you focus on what you can do rather than what you can't. Imagine standing in front of a whiteboard with 2 columns, one for things you control and another for things you don't. Think about how much more productive you'd feel if you could focus all your energy on the first column. The Stoics understood this better than most. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, faced insurmountable odds, wars, plagues, political betrayals. Yet his guiding principle was simple: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's pragmatism in action. And this isn't just ancient wisdom, it's deeply personal. Reflect on a moment in your life when focusing on what worked helped you overcome a challenge. Maybe you were juggling multiple responsibilities, a job, family, bills, and felt overwhelmed. But then you prioritized, made a plan, and tackled the most immediate issues first. You didn't fix everything all at once, but you made progress because you focused on what you could control. Let's make this relatable. Picture a farmer after a storm has ravaged their crops. They can't undo the damage, but they can replant, rebuild, and learn to better prepare for the next storm. Life is no different. You can't control every storm, but you can control your response. Focusing on what works isn't just a strategy, it's freedom. It liberates you from the weight of the uncontrollable and directs your energy toward what truly matters, what you can change, improve, and build upon. Number 3, control and adapt. Close your eyes and imagine this. You're on a road trip, cruising down a scenic highway. The sun is shining, the playlist is perfect, and everything seems to be going smoothly. Then, out of nowhere, a detour sign pops up. The road ahead is closed. Frustration bubbles up. This wasn't part of the plan. But here's the question. Do you turn back, or do you take the detour? Life is full of detours. Maybe it's losing a job, facing a health scare, or having to adjust to an unexpected change in plans. In moments like these, control and adaptability go hand in hand. You can't control the detour, but you can control your reaction. Think of Charles Darwin, the scientist whose work revolutionized our understanding of life. His studies weren't just about the survival of the strongest, they were about the survival of the most adaptable. It wasn't brute force that ensured success, but the ability to adjust, to evolve, to pivot when faced with change. That's a lesson for all of us. Pause for a moment and think about your own life. When was the last time you had to pivot? Maybe you were planning for a dream vacation, but unexpected expenses forced you to cancel. Did you sulk, or did you find joy in a simpler adventure? Those moments are what define us, not the challenges themselves, but how we respond to them. Let's go back to that road trip for a second. Imagine taking the detour and discovering a breathtaking view you would have missed on your original route. That's the power of adaptation. It's not about clinging to the plan, but embracing the possibilities that come with change. Control and adaptability aren't just survival skills, they're the keys to thriving. They teach us to navigate life's uncertainties with grace, courage, and a willingness to see every twist and turn as part of the journey. Number 4, wisdom in action. Think about a moment when you gave someone advice, a friend, a family member, or even a colleague. Maybe they were stuck in a tough situation and you knew just the right thing to say. Now, here's the twist. How often do you apply that same wisdom to your own life? It's funny, isn't it? We're so good at helping others navigate their problems, but when it comes to our own, we hesitate. Wisdom isn't just knowing what's right. It's about doing what's right. Picture this. You're standing at the edge of a swimming pool, knowing the water will be cold. You hesitate, overthinking every possible outcome. Will it be shocking? Will you regret it? Will it take forever to warm up? But then, you jump, and in seconds you've adjusted, wondering why you waited so long. That's wisdom in action, taking the leap, even when it's uncomfortable. Let's look to history for inspiration. Consider Harriet Tubman, a woman who faced unimaginable risks to lead others to freedom. Her decisions weren't based on overthinking or fear. They were grounded in courage and clarity. She understood that wisdom is nothing without action. Now think about your life. When was the last time you hesitated to make a decision, even though deep down you knew the right choice? Maybe it was a career move, ending a toxic relationship, or even something as small as starting a new habit. The gap between knowing and doing can feel enormous, but once you close it, the rewards are undeniable. This is where pragmatism shines. It pushes you to take your knowledge, your insights, and your instincts and put them into motion. It's about bridging the gap between thought and reality, making your wisdom not just theoretical, but tangible and impactful. Number 5, live purposefully. Now, pause for a moment and think about your average day. How much of it do you spend on autopilot? Scrolling through your phone, going through the motions at work, maybe even zoning out during conversations. It's easy to let days blur into weeks, weeks into months, and suddenly you're wondering where the time went. Now imagine this. What if you approached every day as if it truly mattered, as if your time was your most precious resource? Living purposefully isn't about grand gestures or life-altering decisions. It's about small, intentional actions that align with what you value most. Think of Steve Jobs, who famously asked himself every morning, "If today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I am about to do?" It's a powerful question, not because it's dramatic, but because it's grounding. It forces you to evaluate your priorities and align your actions with your intentions. But let's bring this closer to home. Have you ever looked back at a time in your life and wished you'd been more present? Maybe it was during your child's first steps, a conversation with a loved one who's no longer here, or even a personal milestone you brushed past in the rush of life. These moments are reminders that living purposefully isn't just about big goals. It's about savoring the here and now. Pragmatism encourages us to act on what matters most in the moment. It's not about being perfect or achieving everything at once. It's about making each day count, no matter how ordinary it seems. Number 6, progress beats perfection. Let's be honest. How often do you hold yourself back because something isn't perfect? Maybe it's a project you're working on, a fitness goal, or even starting a new hobby. Perfection feels like the ideal, but more often than not, it's just an excuse to delay. Now think about this. When you learned to ride a bike, did you wait until you were sure you'd never fall? Of course not. You stumbled, you wobbled, and you probably fell a few times. But with each attempt, you got better. That's the power of progress. It builds momentum, confidence, and skill, one step at a time. The Japanese concept of Kaizen, continuous improvement, is a perfect example. It's not about massive leaps, but small, consistent actions that compound over time. Toyota used this philosophy to revolutionize manufacturing, and it's a lesson we can all apply to our lives. Think about your own journey. When was the last time you made progress, even if it wasn't perfect? Maybe it was writing a rough draft, completing your first workout in months, or simply trying something new. Each step, no matter how small, gets you closer to where you want to be. Progress is the antidote to perfectionism. It reminds us that the journey matters more than the destination, and that every imperfect action is a building block for something greater. Number 7, learn. Don't linger. Think back to a mistake you made that stuck with you. Maybe it was saying something you regretted, missing out on an opportunity, or making a decision that didn't pan out the way you'd hoped. Now, reflect on how much time you spent replaying that mistake in your mind. Did it change anything? Did it help you move forward? Dwelling on mistakes is a natural response, but it's also a trap. Imagine carrying a heavy bag filled with every regret and failure you've ever had. Every step forward becomes harder, slower. But what if you put the bag down, sifted through its contents, and only kept what was useful? That's the pragmatic approach to learning. Take the lesson and leave the weight behind. Thomas Edison's story is a classic example. When asked about his failures in creating the light bulb, he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." He didn't linger on what went wrong. He used it as fuel for what could go right. Think about your own life. Maybe you bombed a presentation at work, forgot an important anniversary, or made a choice you wish you could undo. The key isn't to erase those moments. They're part of your story. The key is to learn from them and use that knowledge to do better next time. Mistakes are valuable teachers, but only if we approach them with the right mindset. Linger too long and you're stuck. Learn from them and you're free to grow. Number 8. Simplicity wins. Take a moment to look around you. How much clutter surrounds you, not just physical, but mental and emotional clutter? The to-do lists, the endless notifications, the pressure to keep up with everyone else. It's overwhelming, isn't it? Now imagine stripping all of that away. Imagine focusing only on what truly matters. That's the power of simplicity. It's not about having less, it's about making room for more clarity, more focus, more peace. Think of Henry David Thoreau, who left his bustling world behind to live in the woods by Walden Pond. He didn't retreat to escape life, but to truly live it. His experiment in simplicity taught him that by removing distractions, he could focus on what was essential. But simplicity isn't just for philosophers, it's for all of us. Think about a time when you cleared out the clutter, whether it was cleaning your home, simplifying your schedule, or letting go of a toxic relationship. Didn't it feel like a weight lifted? That's the essence of simplicity. It creates space for what truly matters. Pragmatism thrives in simplicity. It asks us to cut through the noise, focus on what works, and let go of the rest. In a world that constantly demands more, simplicity is a quiet but powerful rebellion. Number 9. Balance emotions. Practically, close your eyes and think about the last time your emotions got the better of you. Maybe you snapped at someone in anger, made an impulsive decision, or let fear hold you back. Emotions are powerful. They can drive us forward or hold us hostage. The trick is learning how to balance them. Imagine you're holding a glass of water. If you grip it too tightly, it might spill. If you hold it too loosely, you might drop it. The goal is to find that middle ground where you can hold it steady. That's how we should approach emotions, neither suppressing them nor letting them take over, but finding a practical balance. The Stoics, like Epictetus, taught that emotions aren't inherently good or bad. It's how we respond to them that matters. Pragmatism builds on this by encouraging us to channel our emotions into actions that serve us. Feel anger. Use it as motivation to address an injustice. Feel sadness. Let it guide you toward healing and self-care. Think about your own experiences. When was the last time you turned an emotional reaction into a practical solution? Maybe you felt anxious about an upcoming event and used that energy to prepare thoroughly. Or perhaps you were upset about a mistake but used it as a push to improve. Balancing emotions doesn't mean ignoring them. It means understanding them and using them wisely. It's about turning feelings into fuel, not fires. Number 10. Grow together. Think about a time when you worked with someone to achieve a goal, whether it was a group project, a team effort at work, or even just helping a friend through a tough time. Now, recall how it felt to share that success, to know that your combined efforts created something greater than what you could have done alone. That's the power of growing together. Human beings are inherently social. Pragmatism recognizes this and emphasizes that our best progress often comes from collaboration. Imagine a tree in a forest. Alone, it might struggle to withstand storms or find nourishment. But in a forest, trees share resources through their roots, protecting and strengthening one another. We're no different. Look back at history. The Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur, revolutionized transportation with their invention of the airplane. It wasn't the work of just one genius. It was their combined efforts, their ability to learn from each other, and their shared vision that brought flight to life. Now think about your life. Who has helped you grow? Maybe it's a mentor who believed in you, a partner who supported your dreams, or a friend who encouraged you to keep going when you felt like giving up. Relationships like these are priceless because they remind us that we're stronger together. Growing together isn't just about collaboration. It's about mutual investment. It's about recognizing that when we lift others, we rise too. Whether it's in your personal life or your community, growth is amplified when it's shared. Number 11. Act consistently, achieve greatly. Picture a mountain climber at the base of a towering peak. They don't conquer the mountain in one giant leap. Instead, they take it step by step, one foothold at a time. That's what consistency looks like. Small, deliberate actions repeated over time that lead to incredible achievements. Consistency is the unsung hero of success. Pragmatism thrives on it because it turns abstract dreams into tangible realities. Think about brushing your teeth. It's such a small habit, but over the years, it prevents major problems. Life's greatest achievements often work the same way, built on the foundation of consistent effort. Take Serena Williams, one of the greatest tennis players of all time. Her success didn't come from a single match or tournament, but from years of relentless practice, discipline, and showing up even on the days she didn't feel like it. That's the power of consistency. Now reflect on your own life. When have you seen the fruits of consistency? Maybe it was learning a skill, like cooking or playing an instrument. Or perhaps it was saving a little bit of money each month until you could finally afford something you'd been dreaming of. Those moments remind us that greatness isn't about massive leaps, it's about steady steps. The beauty of consistency is that it compounds over time. Each small action builds on the last, creating momentum that's hard to stop. It's not always glamorous, but it's always effective. If you want to achieve greatly, start by showing up every single day. If you've made it this far, drop a thumbs up. It shows you're part of the rare few who don't just start things, they finish them. That kind of commitment is the first step toward real change. These strategies aren't just theories, they're actionable steps you can begin applying today to see real results in your life. If you're serious about transforming your life and living with purpose, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Joining our community means you're ready to embrace the wisdom of Stoicism and the practical power of pragmatism to shape a better future. Keep pushing forward, and remember, small actions, consistently done, lead to big transformations.